Hi and welcome to the NoWarZone. December, or the end of December, is also a time to remember when one of the greatest natural catastrophes was experienced by the world and Sri Lanka, when the tsunami struck the coastal areas of the South, the Southeast Asia and the Pacific. We rarely hear the tsunami in the media in Sri Lanka, except when it is described as a time when non-governmental organizations got rich. But the impact of the tsunami in Sri Lanka was devastating, and on its 4th anniversary, we remember the losses that the people had to come to terms with and how they met with the challenges. We also remember the lost opportunity of the tsunami in unifying the people of the country as they faced up to a crisis across all communities.
The day after Christmas and a Poya day. The morning's peace is shattered by news of the tsunami. And as the day progressed, how seriously it was affecting the people along the north, east and south coast of the country. These scenes from the teledrama The East is Calling, produced by Young Asia Television in 2005, attempt to capture the horror of the moment, but could in no way truly depict how the powerful wave changed the lives of people and communities in the country.
இதுதான் எனது வீடு, எனது இல்லம். அந்த வீட்டுக்கு முன்னால் நான் நின்று கொண்டிருந்தேன். திடீரென்றால் கடலை பார்த்தேன். உடனே கடல் ஒரு 12 அடி உயரத்தில் எழும்பி வந்ததை கண்டேன்.
අම්මත් නෑ, මල්ලි දෙන්නෙත් නෑ, ආච්චිත් නෑ, සීයාත් නෑ.
We have 490 children. Now not the school days, no holidays. They are home. But now I thought that 250 children this event.
As the relief effort got underway, it was the people, ordinary people, who were the first to act. Long before the bigger NGOs and INGOs could mobilize themselves, relief was already coming in to the affected communities. All Sri Lankans wanted to help. They did not care if they were Tamil or Sinhalese or Muslim communities. They were all anxious to do what they could to assist people in their time of grief and loss. Those who experienced the tsunami firsthand realized this before everyone else. The missed opportunity of the tsunami also included the possibility of getting closer to a political settlement to the conflict in Sri Lanka, through a joint mechanism that brought the LTTE and the government of Sri Lanka together as partners to reconstruct and rehabilitate the tsunami-affected areas of the north. This was to soon become part of the controversial PTOMS debate that was soon submerged by the lack of compromise and consensus among everyone concerned.
Unfortunately, the attempt made by the president at that time, I think she made a very good attempt through a device called the Post-Tsunami Management Organization Structure. It's called PTOMS for short. But that didn't really get done. I think the agreement was signed, but on account of the fact that it was contested in the Supreme Court and then withdrawn, that procedure didn't take place. And government assistance, which would have gone in large measure to that area, which needed it, didn't get through. So there was a default there. Nobody's fault, but it didn't happen. And as a result, it didn't contribute to the strengthening of reconciliation and movement onwards towards peace.
It became entirely politicized, and the government at that time couldn't actually push it through. And also at that time, the LTT was itself thinking of moving out, or had already made the decision to move out of the peace process. So it came too late. It was very tragic. if it was implemented in the spirit in which it should have been implemented, as a combined operation to resuscitate the lives of people in the north and east, we might have a very different Sri Lanka today and a very different approach to the peace process.
Going by the Indonesian example in the Aceh province, where the tsunami was a turning point in the resolution of the conflict there, could Sri Lanka too have been able to give its peace process the momentum it needed through this experience?
The tsunami in Indonesia, in the island, in the province of Aceh, really destroyed Aceh, much more than it destroyed the north and east, and also destroyed the military capacity of the fighting force, the Aceh militants, the GAM, the GAM. Whereas the tsunami in Sri Lanka did not really destroy the fighting capacity of the LTT. So the LTT remained strong and with their determination still intact to take on the military struggle. Whereas in Aceh, the military capacity was really eroded. And there were people within the armed forces in Indonesia shortly after the tsunami who said, this is the time for us to go in and finish off the militancy because they are very weak, they are destroyed. But the president of Indonesia, a new president, he's the president even today, he took a different attitude. He said, no, this is the time to make peace with them.
In Aceh, the Indonesian government and the rebel group worked together towards the resolution or towards the rehabilitation effort. In this case, it didn't happen because PTOMs failed. The agreement that was going to be there to make it possible for the LTT also to work with the government didn't come through. And as a result, I think we missed a chance there.
4 years later, we commemorate the anniversary of the tsunami at a time of renewed war and conflict. The media has highlighted the forward movement of government forces into the LTTE-held Mullaitivu district. This too was a tsunami-affected area, ravaged by conflict in the past and once again today. It raises the question of what, if anything, did we learn from the tsunami that could one day help the people of this country to live in peace?
Well, I think now the picture has completely changed because there is no more that position of tsunami and its rehabilitation. Now it's a straightforward matter of how do we get from the military action that's going on in a very strong, fierce way between the two sides in the final stages, how do we get that to a position of peace?
If there is a political solution that the Sri Lankan state system, government and opposition offering, then a large part of the rationale for fighting will be gone. That is the direction in which we have to move, because where ethnic nationalism is concerned, military force cannot suppress it. It will somehow surface. Ethnic nationalism can only be eliminated or removed by political means, by getting the willing consent of that part of the population.